This is Jaden's Videos, and it is time for an October tradition of mine, which is ranking this Halloween season's Spirit Halloween animatronic lineup. So it is time to rank the Spirit Halloween animatronics of 2023. This year is Spirit's 40th anniversary, and we expected big things from them, and we got big things from them. This season has truly been one of Spirit's best of all time. They've hit us with some fantastic animatronics, and I cannot wait to rank them for you guys. As these ranking lists work, I start with my least favorite and go to my favorite. But one thing about Spirit this year, which is absolutely insane, I don't think there's a single animatronic that I would say is bad. Well, there's some that aren't that great, but I wouldn't say they're terrible. Sometimes we have some that I'm just like, okay, this is ridiculously terrible. This year, from what I can see on my list, there's not a single one that I would say is terrible. Spirit gave us some truly awesome animatronics for the 2023 season, and I can't wait to talk about them. Now, one thing that's very surprising, I have not purchased a lot of animatronics from Spirit this season, or in general, but that's only because I'm getting more selective which animatronics I purchase, and I'm only purchasing ones that I have a use for either that year or I know I'm going to use sometime in the near future, instead of just buying ones that I like and thinking, oh, maybe I'll use that eventually. I'm getting more selective with it because as I get more into more pro haunting, I want to be more selective with what I get because I spend more money on a lot of other things to do with haunts other than just animatronics. However, there are still some others that I would like to get. There's one in particular that I may still get before Halloween, and then there's a few others that I'd still like to get on the sale. But other than that, let's jump right into it. There's 21 animatronics this year. I am including online-only ones, and I am including returning ones if there is a change from the old ones. So Menacing Molly and Ghost Swing do not count, but Grave Watcher does. Let's jump right in at number 21, which is Eternal Rest. This is the only animatronic this year that I would say is bad. It's not terrible, though. It's just not that great. And honestly, my thoughts went up for it when I saw one that had its volume at max, because the scare was a little bit more effective, but it's still just not a great scare. The jump scare's slow, it's kind of lame, it's kind of boring, the face isn't scary, the red light up eyes aren't scary. But the reason it's not terrible is because the tombstone itself, as a static tombstone, is pretty cool looking. I like the tombstone, but for the price tag that it has and for that lackluster animation, it is my least favorite animatronic of the 2023 season. Number 20 is Thresher, an online-only one. This one has a cool concept, the walkthrough concept, but I don't like the phrases, and also this kind of has a personal preference thing to me, because for my personal uses, I like to make my own facades and stuff for my haunts. This is more for outside your house for trick-or-treaters, and that's just not something that I personally buy things for. Yes, I love to decorate the outside of my house, but it's not my main priority to spend a lot of money on something for. I just feel like there's better walkthrough things in existence than this. It's kind of a plain looking character. It doesn't look great, but it's a cool concept, and I'd like to see them expand on the idea. But it's just not super amazing in my opinion. One of my least favorites of the season. Number 19 is Grave Watcher. This is going to be controversial because she's a returning one that a lot of people like. I used to really like Grave Watcher when I was younger. She's really grown off on me over the years. I don't really care for her that much anymore. I think it's cool that they returned her, but she's just one that I never really cared for. At least I did when I was younger, but then I don't really anymore, and I haven't for a while. She's just kind of boring. She's kind of like a motionette, like one of those holiday motionettes that move their arms and their head like this, which I like motionettes, but I like them because of the fact they're vintage. As a newer animatronic, there's just not a lot to her. She's got a very old school animation. It's just, there's nothing crazy about her. She's alright. Again, nothing terrible this year. It's a lot of this is just personal preference, and to me, I just don't really see much appeal in Grave Watcher. Number 18 is the Scary Sitting Scarecrow. This one is definitely better than the original Sitting Scarecrow because, as the name suggests, it's Scary Sitting Scarecrow, and it looks pretty cool. Only reason it's kind of low on the list is because I'm just not crazy about Sitting Scarecrow in general. It's kind of boring, kind of just It's like a mid-tier animatronic. There's nothing bad about it. There's nothing great about it. It's been returning for years. It's been overdone. It's not bad. It's a great concept, especially for trick-or-treaters. Again, that's not what I personally buy most of my things for, is for trick-or-treaters. I buy things for haunts, and sometimes I just buy things because I like them, but I buy things for haunts. This is very geared towards trick-or-treating and stuff. And that's just not my personal thing I buy animatronics for, so I've never been crazy about it. It's just kind of boring to me. So the scary one, though it is better than the original, it's not going to be too high on my list. Number 17 is probably the most controversial on this entire list. It's Poor George. I'm not crazy about Poor George. I like him. He was definitely lower on this list, way lower, before I saw him in person. Ever since seeing him in person, he's gone up for me. And he's still not super high, but he was like way near the bottom at the start. I was like, oh geez. I like clowns a lot. In fact, my haunt theme this year, which it opens in only a day, I'm super excited, is a circus theme. So I love clowns, but I'm not crazy about this type of clown. I like the concept of the cut in half clown that does the spin and stuff. I think that's a really cool idea. But the look of him, I'm not crazy about. And that's really what it comes down to with him, is I don't like the look of this clown. I don't like the clowns with the long hair. They look a little too modern. They look a little too like they're trying to be scary. I like the more subtle, creepy clowns. This guy just doesn't do it for me because I just don't like the look. I love the concept. I think the concept's really cool, but the look just ruins it for me. And he's just, you know, it's mostly comes down to that. He's not a bad animatronic by any means. It's a personal preference for him. Number 16 is Stilts, another clown, which, like I said, I like clowns. This guy looks too cartoony. He did start to grow on me a little bit, but then he went down because I realized I was trying to push myself to like him because I wanted to like him because he's got a cool concept of the clown on stilts, but for one, he doesn't look like he's on stilts. He's just tall. And two, he just looks too cartoony. His head twisting is cool. It's not very grounded. I like the more subtle, creepy clowns. This guy's more of a monster clown, but I really do like the idea. He's pretty twisted and creepy, and how big he is really benefits towards him. But his face and his colors are just too bright and flashy. They're too cartoony. It looks like a toy. It's not, I don't know, something about him I'm just not crazy about. But he's not awful. He's pretty cool. He's just not super high up. 15 is one I really wish I liked more. I really, really do, because I love killer clowns from outer space. I have the Shorty animatronic, and I was waiting for another one. Obviously, this is Slim. I've been waiting for another killer clown since they released Shorty, because I like Shorty, but he's not the best killer clown. I think most people would agree on that. Slim is one of the best, and so when I heard we were going to be getting a Slim, I was excited. Two problems with this. Two, but three problems with this. One, it's $400. That's a lot. Two, his animation is one of the most lackluster animations I've ever seen. He literally just leans forward, stays down, and then pops back up. That's it. And he's down for his whole animation. He doesn't like lean forward and then go back, and then he's just down for his whole animation. The reason why it's supposed to look like he's closing his popcorn bag, why did they include that popcorn bag? That is not an iconic scene of his. I mean, yes, it is. It follows it as an iconic shadow puppet scene, but they could have done the shadow puppets. He could have had his hands like this, and he could have had a projection on his back, and it could have been projecting the shadow puppets on the wall. Absolutely would have been awesome. The popcorn bag was a terrible decision, and he just doesn't look great. His face gets deformed a lot. He just doesn't look great, but I can't put him super low on this list because it's Slim. He's still cool. He's pretty awesome. I like the overall look of him, even if he gets deformed. I like the concept. They could have just done a lot better, but he's pretty cool. I've beat this one up quite a bit more than some of the ones that are even lower than it, just because I really wish it was better than it was, but it's still pretty good. Number 14 is one that's grown on me so much. I wasn't crazy about it at first. At first I liked it because I love the classic Halloween ghost. Then I wasn't crazy about it once I saw the face closed up, and now I'm liking it again. It's Howling Spirit, and the reason I'm liking it again is because it's weather grade. That is so fantastic because you can keep this guy out all season long and he won't get ruined. He's also very versatile because he's just a classic ghost. You can use him in many different themes, and I love classic Halloween ghosts. They're one of my favorite Halloween monsters. They're so fantastic, and this guy's really cool. I like how he's floating. I like his animation. Only reason he's not higher is because I still am not crazy about the way his face looks. It still looks kind of cheesy and cutesy. I like the classic ghosts, but I still like them to have a creepy vibe. Not be super cute, but just be kind of spooky. He's a little cutesy in the face, but he's still cool. I still like him. He's one I definitely consider purchasing, mostly because of that weather grade thing. Please keep making weather grade stuff, because that was a great choice for this. Number 13 is Gordo. You know what? This guy could have been higher if it wasn't for his price tag, because I love pumpkins and pumpkin stuff, and this is a great pumpkin jump scare. It's just a pumpkin, and the head comes up, and there's guts and stuff. It's so cool. It's such a cool jump scare. I know this guy's hated. I like him. I think he's a pretty cool one. My only reason he's not super high is because, apart from yes, he is about 3 feet tall, but that's literally just because he has a pedestal covered in fabric. The real animatronic is just a pumpkin that's like this size. Yet he's over $100. I think he's $150. That's quite expensive for what it is. I'm happy it has the pedestal though. I'm happy it is, because I'm not a fan of tabletops, because then you need to find a way to display them in a haunt. If, of course, I'm talking from my point of view and using stuff for haunts. You have to find a place to display them in a haunt. They're harder to display. People aren't going to notice them. I don't like tabletops. They run off batteries. There's all sorts of reasons I don't like them, but I don't like them. So I'm happy that this guy isn't a tabletop and that they made him a full animatronic with a pedestal and everything. I think that's a great plus, but I think the price should have reflected that. I think it should have been $100 at most, not $150. Even $100 is pushing it. I think it really, in reality, should have been like $80. But he's still a cool one. I still like him, one I consider getting. 12 is Little Jack Carver. Again, I really like the pumpkin stuff, and I really like the classic Halloween farm stuff. Farm is one of my favorite themes for Halloween, so I usually like stuff like that. I like this little farmer kid vibe. I love the fact that his voice echoes when he goes back into the pumpkin. I think that's a really cool touch. I love the look of the pumpkin. I love how he pulls it off his head. Really effective jump scare, really cool. I like this guy quite a bit, and he's good for your money as well. 11 is Dagger Mike, which is the first one on this list that I actually own, that I purchased for this season. Now, one thing about Dagger Mike is I might be a little biased towards him this season, simply because my haunt theme this season is vintage circus, vintage vaudeville circus, and he's a vintage looking clown, and so I'm biased towards him because of that. If it wasn't for that theme that I'm doing this year, he might have even been lower on the list, and I know I wouldn't have even bought him at all, because if I wasn't doing a circus this year, I probably wouldn't have had an interest in buying him. I still would have thought he's cool because I like him, but I probably wouldn't be as biased towards him as I am this year. But this year in particular, because I had a great use for him, I'm really biased towards this guy. But I do think he's cool, and I think he gets a lot more hate than he deserves. A lot of people hate on this guy. I think he's a great jump scare. He's very fast, very effective, and he looks super cool. His vintage clown aesthetic looks great. I really like Dagger Mike. I think he gets too much hate. Number 10 is Desmodus. Desmodus was one that I really thought was going to be near the top of my list when we first heard that it was coming. But unfortunately, it just isn't. The body looks a little plasticky and cheap, which is a problem, but it's something I was willing to look past. When I saw this guy for the first time in person, he startled me so much he went into my top 5 immediately. It was one that I knew I had to have because I love bats, and I just love classic Halloween stuff. I love bats. We don't get a lot of giant bats, and this guy had such a startling and awesome animation. He's lower down on the list. I mean, he's still in the top 10, so he's still high. I could never put him lower than the top 10. He's too cool for that. But he's not as high as top 5 like he was going to be in, simply because as more stores opened, it was evident that he is one of the faultiest props ever made. I mean, this guy was breaking left and right. Almost every single Desmodus is broken. It's a real shame. I would have bought this guy instantly if he didn't have that issue. I still consider possibly purchasing him in the near future. If he returns and they remake him better, then I would definitely want to get him. But as it stands, I don't want to take the gamble on this guy breaking immediately because, wow, he's a faulty animatronic. But he's still a great one. He's still super cool, which is why he still needs to make it into the top 10. They just need to improve his quality. Number 9 is Heckles. Heckles was originally higher, but as I saw more things in person, I began to like more things more, but Heckles is still one that I purchased this season simply because he fits my haunt theme for this season. But really, I do think he's a fantastic clown. Of course, there's clowns that are lower on this list that I definitely could have used for my haunt this year, but they're low on the list and I didn't get them because I don't like them. But Heckles, I actually like, and he deserves to be as high as he is because he's a really cool clown and possibly one of the best in recent years. He's got a very creepy aesthetic. He looks old-timey. He's a sad clown. That's something we've never seen. The whole balloon gimmick is cool. Heckles is just a really cool guy. I think he's one of the coolest clowns we've seen. And I really like him. I like to own him. I don't know what I'm going to do with him after this year, since I'm not going to do clowns again, probably for a long, long time, because I like to switch up my themes each year. But I'd still like to hang on to him just because he's a really cool one. Number 8 is the Martian Warrior. Not from the Mars Attacks movie, but from the Mars Attacks trading cards. Thank the Lord, because I just watched the Mars Attacks movie this past July when I heard that Spirit was going to be making this thing, just because. And I don't like that movie at all. I really don't. I know it's a comedy and a lot of people love it. I don't like it because it took these trading cards, which are super grotesque and dark and disturbing, and made them into a joke. Sure, I love horror comedies. I love stuff like that. But it could have been such cool of a movie, and they just made the aliens stupid. Whatever. The trading cards are where it's at, and I'm so happy that this guy's licensed from the trading cards. I just learned about the trading cards this year, but as soon as I saw them, I read all their stories and stuff. I really like them, and I just love the aesthetic of this guy. Aliens do not get enough love for Halloween. 1950s aliens are absolutely awesome, and aliens in general. The way that this guy is selling, I really hope aliens are going to take center stage for Halloween in the next few years. I mean, aliens are big in the headlines right now, too, so hopefully they will. But yeah, Martian Warrior, great animatronic. Only issue is the price, but other than that, he's really cool, and his detail and everything is just incredible. 7 is the Black Heart. This is possibly one of the greatest Grim Reaper animatronics ever made. A lot of Grim Reapers are too generic, they're too plain, and they're just not that cool. This guy has a great concept with the dead body and everything. It's such a great idea, and he's just such a well done animatronic. The only issue I think this guy has really is that it's hard to use in a haunt because people aren't going to stop and watch his whole animation. He's kind of more of a showstopper prop, so he's good for displays, decorating, and you can use him in a haunt, I think, if you put him in the queue line out front of a haunt. I think he would definitely work because people can stop and watch his whole animation. Definitely one I'm interested in getting. I don't know when, but I might get him on the half-off sale. If not, I may get him in the near future. But I really do like this guy, one of the best Reapers. Though I do wish he was a vampire. With that animation and everything, it was just would have been so perfect to have this guy be a vampire. But oh well, he's still a great Reaper, so I like him. Number 6 is another one that was pretty low down for me at the start, just because I didn't like the animation at all. But it's Leatherface. The animation really was lackluster to me, and I was upset about it. And also, I didn't like how shiny the hands were. But after seeing it in person, just how big this guy is, his stature, and his looks, other than the hands, everything else looks phenomenal. I mean, the fact the blade moves on the chainsaw is great, but the mask looks great. Everything else about it looks amazing. He just had to go up for me because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is in my top 3 horror movies of all time. And I've been waiting for a new Leatherface animatronic for years, and we finally got one. You're probably asking me, why haven't you bought this thing yet then, if you love Leatherface so much and you like this animatronic? I'll tell you why. Because though this guy's pretty high on my list, I like the Party City one more. Now you're probably wondering, then why haven't you bought the Party City one yet? I have a simple answer to that. My Party City got the display in, but they have yet to get it in the box. So I haven't been able to buy it. But I'm hoping that they will get it in soon, and if for some reason they don't get it in the box at all this season, then I'm just going to buy that display after Halloween. Without a doubt, I'm getting a Leatherface this season. Maybe it will wind up being the Pretty Woman one because they're very closely tied for me. If my Party City somehow does not get it in stock and I can't buy the display, I'll settle for Pretty Woman. They're both cool. But no matter what, I'm getting a Leatherface this season or on the off sale, whatever. I'm hoping before Halloween just to make sure I can get it. We'll see what happens. I really, really want one, though. Number 5 is another one that I've purchased this season. Darling Dolly, one of the creepiest animatronics this year, if not of all time. Her animation is very startling, it's great, it's very fast, and her look is just so disturbing. That long neck, the long hands. I love Darling Dolly. She is such a cool one, and for the money, she's 100% worth it. I'd entirely recommend her. Great animatronic. I absolutely love this one. One of the first ones I got this season, and I really, really like her. Number 4 is a controversial one because it's so high up on my list, and I feel like it's probably not this high up on a lot of people's lists, but it's the Cauldroness. Like I said, I love classic Halloween things, and I love classic witches. We just never get them done right. They're always cutesy. Cauldroness is not. She is creepy. Her voice, her phrases, everything about her is very, very creepy, and I love it. But the main thing I like about her animation is sick. Her animation is freaking awesome, where she has the potion bottle and she pours it into the cauldron and it fogs and it spits up at her. What a greatly done witch. A lot of people don't like her because her face looks weird. I don't mind it. It looks kind of uncanny in my opinion. She's such a great witch animatronic. Without a doubt, I'm getting her. I don't know if it's going to be during the season or if it's going to be on the sale, but I want her because she is a great one. Number 3 is Hellspawn. It's not a surprise that I love this guy because I love demon animatronics. And, well, I just love demons in general, especially, well, not real demons, but you know what I'm talking about, for Halloween. I especially like the classic devil imagery for Halloween. And that's what this guy has. And I'm so happy we finally got a classic devil at Spirit that looks like this guy. I mean, we've gotten it in the past, but it's been quite some time. And he's got the Mr. Dark animation, which is an incredible animation. There's literally nothing bad about this guy other than his phrase of the "get out of my graveyard" is kind of weird. But again, you're probably wondering why I haven't bought this guy. I don't have a use for him this season, so I didn't jump on him because I'm sure he'll return. And if he doesn't, my actual plan is that this is one of the animatronics that I know for a fact I plan to get on the off sale because I need to have this guy in my life. He's so cool. Number 2 is one that I really want to get. I haven't gotten it yet, but I really want to get it. It wasn't a priority to get during the season because maybe if it was in store it would have been more, but since it's online only, it's not. Deathstalker. This thing is so freaking cool. Like the mouth, the gaping mouth, and just everything about it is so cool. He's such a creepy, well-done animatronic. I don't know what he is, but he's creepy. I don't know if he's a fish creature. I don't know if he's an alien. I don't know if he's a ghoul. I don't know if he's a boogeyman. I don't know. But something that's great about him is the versatility is really great because you can use him in so many different themes. I love this guy, and he's one that I want to get eventually because he's really cool. Number 1, my favorite animatronic for 2023. And you're going to say, I'm going to mention that I have this one, because I know if I didn't, you guys would be like, why is your favorite and you don't have it? I have it, and you haven't seen it on this channel yet, because I bought it last month, and I took it out of the box to make sure everything was there, but I haven't assembled it yet. I have not set it up yet, and the only reason why is because it's so big. I didn't want to set it up, then have to take it apart, and then take it to Fearville, which is obviously the event the Halloween event I run where my haunt is at. Then take it to Fearville, because that's where I plan to use it, set it up there, and then have to take it down when it rains, and then all that stuff. I thought, I'm just going to wait to set it up until opening night, because that's something I don't want to put out until opening night, because it's going to be in the main area for the event. You probably know what this already is, based on what's left on this list, but it is Emmeline. Yes, I'm going to use this at Fearville. I know my haunt's a circus theme this year, but I'm going to use it in the main general queue or hub area for the Fearville event as a whole. She's going to go out there. And then I'll use her in haunts in the future for sure, which is one reason I got her, because I know she's one that I'll definitely use in the future because she's very versatile and she's very up my alley of certain things that I do a lot. But Emmeline, wow, I can't wait to set her up. I'm probably going to, well, Fearville opens in a day, so I'm going to set her up in about a day, and then I'll have a review of her out. She is so incredible, and though I have not seen her in action in person yet, even though I own her, I'm very excited to. She is such an incredible animatronic. The animation is unlike anything we've seen. It's sort of like Mr. Dark, but it's so different. The whole lunging forward at you is just incredible. It looks so professional. But even better, it's a ghost. And it's a great looking classic Halloween ghost with a scary face too. And like I said, I love classic Halloween stuff and I love ghosts. So to have a mech like that on a ghost it was just bound to be my favorite one of the season. It's so freaking cool. And it's a ghost. It's such a versatile character too that you can use in a lot of different themes, and I think that's another reason that I really like it. But with all of that out of the way, that is my ranking of the Spirit Halloween 2023 animatronics. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think are your favorite animatronics for Spirit Halloween 2023 in the comments below. I hope you all enjoyed. Fearville opens in just one day, so stay tuned for a bunch of videos coming for Fearville 2023, as well as more videos throughout this spooky month of October. I hope you all enjoyed. Remember that here lies Halloween.